Good. Move on?
Yeah.
All right,
already.
so we'll just look at the system now.
Let's take a look. So can you go to live meeting and your content and share out your right click on the that's fine. Right click on your, if you have, is that it? Where is it?
This must be it.
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay. So this is our main home screen. I am set up as a program manager.
Okay.
So there's different roles. The program manager is the person that can say, I'm the manager for breast screening program, and I can do things like set the clinical eligibility rules for breast screening. I can see all patient records, patients with records for breast screening.
Okay.
I can set the parameters for recruitment. I can set the parameters for recall. I can run a recruitment campaign.
Okay.
I just can't customize this.
Okay. So maybe walk me through like a day in the life of how they go.
Okay, so let's go through recruitment first, and then we'll go through recall.
Okay.
Because the processes are obviously different, right? So my home screen here is a list of all the clients.
Coming from the data warehouse now?
Yes.
Okay.
Correct.
And sitting in the CRM's database as well now. It's pulled this over.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So if we open up, let's just take a look at the record and what that looks like in the fields that we have in these. Okay, so we've got general information that would apply to all screening programs, whoever's using this system, right? We need to know who they are, what their name is, what their gender is, the date of birth. We've got an age that's being calculated based on the date of birth.
Now is this a set of, this isn't real data we're looking at right now, or is it?
No, this is data that's been generated by data system that populates the demo data.
Okay, so it's demo data.
Yeah.
Okay.
PHN, personal health number, is recorded because there's some rules, but it may be rules around the person has to have PHN in order to be screened, right?
Right.
Or if they're not, it's not BC or whatever, they can flag that they have another insurance provider plan and then put the number in what that is. In the future, this medical record number field is here so that you could track the clinical information system.
Okay.
That would help for matching and duplicating.
Right.
And then a list of the patient's healthcare providers. Again, this is coming from the clinical information system.
Okay.
So right now, for each different screening program, you'd identify who the primary provider was.
Okay.
And that could be the same person or it could be different.
Okay. So it says healthcare providers for that section on the general tab, and what we're talking about there are the programs that the person is involved in. In this case, our demo data has been down for 2 programs, cervical screening and breast cancer screening, and the healthcare provider is the main provider for the program.
Correct.
Okay.
And the reason why we had, it could be different for different organization, but the reason why we have it for each screening program is that screening programs are not authorized to share information at this point.
Okay.
For our client.
Okay.
Right? So we can't assume that they're going to have the same information for their care provider as the other program. Can't assume one program is going to have the same information for the provider as the other program is.
Okay.
And we can't verify, we can't know which one is more current than the other. There's all those kinds of issues.
So explain me how that works then, because we're talking about HSA, where we put this in the PHSA screening program.
Yeah. So we built one solution to be used for all 3 programs.
Right.
But entrenched in history, the screening programs are still technically
individual units
in some legal and privacy instances their own entity.
Within the PHSA screening program, there's 3 sub-programs almost.
Yes, yes.
And they may or may not talk to each other.
Correct.
Okay.
They're moving towards central management, but they don't have it today.
Oh, okay.
They use workarounds and those things.
Interesting.
Okay, so then just looking across the tabs on the top,
Yeah.
Contact preferences, this is where we manage the opt-in, opt-out for each program.
Okay.
It's grayed out read-only because there is a button up here for updating contact preference.
Okay.
So someone couldn't just come in and say they opt out. We want a record of why they're opting out.
Oh,
Okay.
gotcha.
The contact information for this client. This again is going to be used in the future when programs can share the information.
Right.
But right now, this contact information exists within each program record.
Okay.
Okay. And administration is pretty straightforward. It's just who's the owner of the record and when it's been created on.
So on the general tab, if you could click back there, we don't have the person's address. We have their name.
Yeah.
And you know, the PHN,
Yeah.
PHN, the date of birth. And on contact information, this is where it's essentially like a contact can have multiple addresses.
Yes.
Because they'll you know, and hopefully it's the same address across all programs.
It hopefully is, but so the way that that's being managed today in the system is that over on the left here we have we have a record for each program
For that
for this person. So if you look at the breast screening record,
yes.
so this general information, some of it carries to we've got the link here to the client record,
Right.
right? And then this is all information that is specific to breast screening. It does not apply to any other programs.
Okay.
This is also how we're controlling security.
Can there be multiple breast screening records for this person, or there's all one record?
There's always just going to be one record,
Okay.
but we needed to segregate the information from the client record
And from
because a user, for example,
yeah.
I work for the breast screening program
Yes.
and I use CRM, but I do not have, I can't have access to this patient's cervical or colon cancer program information.
Right.
So this is how we segregated that out,
And
so then you can control access to these records.
Okay. And this is a custom entity.
Yes.
Okay. And if I look at contact information tab here, this is when we get their address info,
Yes.
which may very well be identical to the same contact information held
For the colon record.
for the colon records. So there is some redundancy of data, but it's by design. It's
Yeah,
not.
exactly.
Okay.
Okay. So just really quick here, this is all information that's coming from the clinical information system, so their program ID from their source system.
Okay.
Their last screening exam date
Okay.
is here. Their next scheduled appointment date, because we're not going to send them a reminder letter if they've already scheduled. No, that
Right.
we're calculating when they should be next screened based on the last date,
Yes.
and then knowing whether they're screened or have been screened using this date.
Okay. And do we have the rules? Are these
I'll
rules
show
that
you
we
what
can?
the rules are. Yeah,
Okay.
they're managed in CRM.
Okay.
Priority rescreening, this is just if there's some sort of high risk. This will play into the rules of recall.
Okay.
And then here's that clinically eligible flag. So yes, this person's eligible for screening, or no, they're not. If it's no, then we're not going to be sending them letters of any kind.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
That fits there.
And it is all read-only on that screen now.
Yes, because the information, the source of the information is the clinical information system, we don't want to be updating it in CRM. It needs to be updated in the clinical information system, come through the warehouse and be pushed over to CRM.
Okay, gotcha.
Right, because this is not our source of truth for this information.
Yes.
And then I can click here on client providers just to see that same list that I see on the, so we from an iframe on the client's general tab to see the providers.
Okay.
And this is where there's...
So could you click back to the information?
Here.
Oh, okay, so that's
So that's just
an
a view
iframe.
into here so that they don't have to go a click away to get this information.
Okay,
All right.
gotcha.
And then if I was to update the contact preference for this person on this program, I go here, hit the button, and it just launches this contact preference record. Custom entity
Right.
that we created. We select the program that we're entering this for, so we'll say cervical screening. They don't want to participate or they don't want to be contacted any further by the
Okay.
program. we say why,
Okay.
requested by the client, or we have the wrong mailing address and actually can't reach the person.
Right.
So don't use this address again.
Okay.
Or they're not eligible.
Right.
So they might call and they go through the list of questions for whether you're eligible or not, and they come here and add that.
Okay.
Okay.
Right. Makes sense.
I don't want to save that. Okay, close that. Okay, so that's the client record. Outreach. So the marketing functionality has been renamed to outreach in the system.
And what were we in before? We were looking at, what folder were we in? Oh, we were just in
client.
workplace.
So the contact has been renamed to client.
Okay.
You'll see we've also removed the sales tab.
Okay,
And
yes.
we've removed the service tab.
Right.
Because we're not using any of that functionality.
Yes. And in outreach.
So this is where we do all our recruiting
Right.
with new clients. So we use the marketing list
Okay.
and that marketing functionality with a lot of customization.
Makes sense.
Okay, so if you look at the marketing list, so this will be the recruitment campaigns for all programs that are going to show up in here,
Okay.
right? So let's just look at one that's been done.
This is a 2009.
So last year we recruited these people.
Is there, so there's not always one marketing list for colon screening.
No, it's going to change
There's
every
going
time
to
they
be
do.
one, you're going to have one for each, this is the 2010 campaign, this is the 2010 Q2 campaign, or
Correct.
however your interval is for campaigns that you're running.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So they come in, set up the marketing list, right?
Right.
Give it a name. Select the program that it's for,
Okay.
right?
Yes.
Then they go through and they add members. So I'm going to go to manage members. I'm going to use, I don't know why this isn't showing up on your screen. I'm going to use advanced bind to add members.
I think it was just slow to draw. Okay, hang on, let's see. No, because you'd have to share, we need to share that in your, should we? Wait, share all. We can go to share all. Share your desktop? Share all.
Yeah.
Let's see that.
Okay. See that?
There we go.
Okay.
I see it.
So we've got some views for them to use up here. So there's some standard criteria that they use to say, okay, who are we picking from our big pool of clients for breast screening recruitment, who are picking for cervical. So let's with breast screening. There's some saved information there. So we need to make sure they have a PHN in order to be on this list.
Right.
They need to be able to they need to say they're opting in, or they haven't. Basically, we want people that haven't opted out from breast screening, right?
Right.
And then we're going to recruit people that are aged 50, 55, 60, 65.
Okay.
Right? So that's from the client record. And then on the breast screening record, we need to know that they're clinically eligible.
So this would miss people that are 51.
Yeah.
52. Okay.
Because they only recruit
Okay, on the
certain
intervals. Oh, right.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
We need to know that they haven't participated or are not about to participate in screening, so they can't have a scheduled appointment date and they can't have an exam date older than 5 years ago, or within 5 years.
Okay.
Otherwise, they'll go through. So then you go through and find people that match that criteria.
Yes.
Add all these people to the marketing list.
Okay.
I'm going to do it because
Sure.
Right?
No
So that's
problem.
what they do.
Okay.
Okay? Then they
And then
get
now this is all data that's in our CRM system. It goes from the data warehouse to our CRM system.
yes,
Does it send out to do that nightly or hourly or
every night.
every night
Yeah.
it is over? Okay.
They're not working on a frequent enough basis to require it to be any more than that.
Right.